available, thankfully.
It'll be interesting to see how Stretton gets off the line, because he was saying that he doesn't know what revs to use, does he?
No.
Oh, a bit of wheel spin, but it's pretty even start. And it's Ward into the lead.
Chris Ward into the lead, which is exactly where he wants to be. John Minshaw is second. Stretton is third. We have the Lister Chevy of going round the outside, was going really strong with Dean Van Life's car. But this is Sam Hancock we're riding with that sort of Martini straight helmet. He's gone past Roberto Giordinelli. I think that could well be Gary Pearson up ahead of him. This is absolutely fabulous. Riding in fifth place with Sam Hancock. And these are big, powerful, mighty motor cars. Chasing there is Martin Stretton.
Yeah, but look, Minshaw's trying to have a go. He's got very wide the entrance to St Mary's, going to have to tuck back across. Stretton will be able to regain a bit of momentum on him, but it's Ward leading the way into the dip. Minshaw in second place, Stretton trying to regain the lead in third place, and behind him pretty much in grid order.
Minshaw snatches the lead with the van down inside of Ward, and not hanging about at all. And
it's 11th. In fact, Ward wouldn't mind. Ward gets nice and sideways coming out there, catches it on a big armful of opposite lock. It's John Minshaw who leads the way.
That was brave, wasn't it?
He certainly was. Minshaw leads the way. This is Hancock into the braking area, down to the Super Shell building. Down the inside ahead of him was probing is Pearson inside Stretton, and here's Hancock. He's got his power in, coming up to the chicane. Here he comes. He's forced his way through on the inside. He's got past. Well, that was a very good move to get past Gary Pearson into the chicane.
Well, that would have compromised Pearson, because he'd have been slow out of the chicane, and he dropped back a little bit off the tail, but a great move from Sam Hancock in number 10.
Well, Pearson was held up, wasn't he, by Stretton ahead. He actually wanted to carry more speed in, but had to check himself, and that just gave Hancock the run he needed. They're running so close together that he was able to nip down the inside.
Yeah, so John Minshaw leading the way after that brave move into lap 0.9 of a second clear at the front over Chris Ward. Can Ward fight back in the costume-bodied Lister? Let's see. Ward very sideways as he comes down into St Mary's, and getting very bold in the battle for third place. Stretton being pushed now very hard by number 10, Sam Hancock. Let's ride with Sam for a second. Up the crest of the hill they go. And then listen to the engine note now, hard on the... well, you don't want to be hard on the brakes. You dab the brakes, you settle the cars in this twin apex, dual apex corner. Being driven very well, as you'd expect, by Stretton ahead. Carpool over on the right of the circuit, though.
Silver car is... Let's see which one it was. Seems to have lost a couple on the first lap.
Very evenly matched down the straight, aren't they?
They are.
Hardly changed at all the way down. Minshaw's really asking the questions early on.
24, that's Oliver Douglas who has broken, and he's making his way back to the pits.
Ward very solid.
Mighty sail out from Ward.
The angles that Chris Ward gets to would put most people off the circuit, but that he is prepared to hang it out if he has to. But still, looking at the tail of Stretton, and certainly Hancock is driving really, really hard to see what he can do. But as we see in a straight line, they all seem to have very, very similar speed. So it's going to be a lot of racecraft that involves a passing to get to a passing manoeuvre. But Hancock doing what he can to unsettle Stretton, but it takes a lot to unsettle Stretton.
Exactly, they're falling away from the first two, Bruce, aren't they?
Yeah, about 2 seconds between them.
Yeah, Hancock's getting a bit frustrated here. He wants that place. He's got a good line, but he's not going to go around the outside of Martin Stretton there, a driver of his calibre.
What I'd like to see, though, it's great looking at this on-board action as they go to Lavin. He hasn't got the speed to go up the inside. He's not that brave, but up front, John Minshaw is really hanging it out to stay ahead of our race leader. To stay ahead of erstwhile race leader Chris Ward. Chris Ward doesn't seem to have the pace to stay with him, though, but Minshaw really
Gary Pearson's trying to tuck into the slipstream there, trying to pick that one up. And here comes Sir Hancock, trying to go down the outside now to get in a late turn and then do what he did to Gary Pearson, but this time on Martin Stretton, who's up ahead. He's not close enough to do just that.
This is really holding those three up now. They're dropping away from Chris Ward. And Martin Stretton doesn't seem to have quite as much pace today in the race as he had yesterday when he put it on pole. Although I think they've already gone quicker than the pole time, haven't they, Marcus? So the pace of the race is faster.
Yeah, pole was a 1:25.609. They're in the 24s already.
Yeah, second and a bit quicker thus far. Conditions getting better. The sun ever brighter at this midpoint. Right, we're not midpoint. We're 5 minutes into a 20-minute race.
These are going to be lapping within about 4 seconds of the T70s round here this weekend. Lovely sunny weather out there. Hancock continues to push, but they're falling back.
Chris Ward in the lead just doesn't seem to have the answers. It's easy to keep your eyes on this battle behind them. Now, there we can see the position of Ward in second place and Mitchell in the lead, but look how close Hancock is to the tail of Martin Stretton, and in turn number 12 Gary Pearson trying to atone for his little mistake earlier in the race, see what he can do about getting on their tails. But as Kevin pointed out, they are holding each other up, the three of them.
Yeah, we see that Giordinelli's made a place. Roberto Giordinelli in car 14, it's Bill Pollack car. Chevrolet powered, big Chevy V8 as opposed to the straight six Jaguars.
He's the lead Chevy, isn't he?
He is.
Sixth spot.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, sixth spot is 8.5 seconds behind this trio, of which Hancock is the meat in the sandwich, and he's not lapping as quickly, so not going to trouble them. But look, Chris Ward just turning in second place into Badgwick. Then there's that little gap back not to number 5, that's being lapped, but it's number 8 you have to look to. Martin Stretton, maybe he was slightly offline there because Sam Hancock started to take a look at the inside, but his options dwindled.
That was Kurt Engelhorn. They were lapping, going up into Badgwick corner, now on the hoof down towards Fordwater.
Engelhorn started in last place, so he should be the first person they're lapping, and thereafter they will come across gaggers of cars.
Hancock looks a lot quicker, he's quicker through Fordwater, but Stretton knows exactly where to put his car, right in the middle of the road, so there wasn't a way around, and he's right up behind him at St Mary's, past you, Bruce, as well.
Yeah, past me, and just going down to the compression. Gary Pearson a little distance behind them now. He's about a second off their tail, doesn't seem to live with them, and you'd have thought he ought to be able, because they're fighting so hard with each other. He's running his own lines, but
he's got
just
extra speed, hasn't he?
he?
Look at this. Hancock's got the speed. He's now right in the toe, but as in squash, dominating the court from the centre of the tee. It's Martin Stretton, but this time Hancock quicker, and earlier on the straight he comes down. See where the track narrows a touch there. He's gone down the outside. Can he make it sticky? Surely he can't. He's not going to get into the apex, is he? But if he's not careful, he's going to have Gary Pearson trying to find a way through as well if he stymies himself in the corners.
Always an interesting thing to be the third member of this battle, to watch, and suddenly a space may open up in front of you, but he's got to be careful.
He almost, I think, unsighted by Stretton, he almost turned in too early to the chicane and clipped the inside the barrier, and he saw it at the last minute and just cheeked around it, so he's lived to fight for another lap. But he's probably getting frustrated now because Hancock, I think, could go quite a bit quicker if he could just get ahead. And he's got to run out of Madgwick, but can he get alongside?
He's got to make it this time, hasn't he?
And he squeezes through, so he's up into third, and that might compromise Stretton on the run down to you, Bruce, with Gary Pearson attacking on the inside.
Well, super close. Yeah, it's all just changing in front of me. Ward's not being able to do anything, but Sam Hancock has made that move. Stretton back into 5th place. How things change. One little slip up at Madgwick, and suddenly the order is reversed. Gary Pearson up to 4th, 10. Here comes the replay. Fantastically brought up to our screen. So Sam Hancock riding 4th. A little mistake there at Madgwick, and Hancock, we said he might be able to pull away if he could get past, but he's done the getting past bit, and he had it nailed before Fordwater, and Gary Pearson followed through on his tail as well. Race leader John Minshaw, number 33. We expected the answers would be given by the Costin-bodied racer behind him, Chris Ward, not managing to do anything. The gap between them last time around, 1.4 seconds at the start-finish line. It looks to be of a similar ilk this time around.
He's working so hard. He had 2 corrections coming out the chicane there, and he and Minshaw are lapping within the 10th or 2 of each other. In fact, 0.003 of a second of the difference in their lap time that time through, but he just can't get back to him, and he's going to ruin that moment where Minshaw took his opportunity on the first lap.
Still 1.4. Watch for Colin Turkington, who's still Turkington, I see, up into 9th place in car number 18. Colin Turkington, touring car champion.
Straight, he started in, I think, 11th place. Yes, he did. Gained a couple of positions. Now, Gary Pearson is going to try and hang on to the tail of Sam Hancock. Hancock in 3rd. Will Martin Stretton at number 8 be able to fight back? Not so long ago until that mistake at Madrid. Number 8 was in 3rd place, being pushed by Hancock. But both these cars went past. 10 and 12 demoted him to 5th. And now Stretton at the tail at the back of that group.
Ward's done the best first sector of anybody, Bruce.
Okay, well, he was really tiny through Madgwick, and we were so used to Chris Ward putting things sideways, but the man putting cars sideways is our race leader, John Minshaw. Hasn't got to make the tyres last more than about 10 more minutes, but it could be a factor later in the race.
I think to answer your question, Bruce, for whatever reason, Stretton doesn't have the pace today. He's falling away from that battle for third. Pearson is actually holding on to Hancock at the moment. He's even having a little bit of a look, but I think Stretton's struggling to hang on.
I think Stratton just mastered the conditions yesterday beautifully, which got him that pole position. But now you find that his experience within this particular car isn't quite there.
New fast laps and personal best for the leading two, and this time there's a massive 500th of a second between their lap times. That's still 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's amazing. Images can be deceptive.
Fastest lap from Minshaw that time around at 1:24.555, which shaved 1,000th of a second off the old fastest lap.
They really are right on the limit, aren't they? Those top guys. This is how quick a Lister can go around Goodwood. I don't think you'd be able to find anyone to go much quicker than this.
Little incident down at St Mary's. We had the race leader coming through, John Minshaw, and Adam Lindemann ended up going wide and onto the grass to keep out of the way, but managed to rejoin just about as second place Chris Ward was coming past. A little intake of breath. Roberto Giordanelli in number 14, he's been going well, running around in 6th place. David Hart right on his tail, so that's a battle that should be enterprising for the remainder of this race.
That's the yellow car of Chris Lunn.
Well, now I think Pearson must have lost out in traffic there because he's fallen away from Hancock and Stretton is back with him again. So now Hancock's on his own. It'd be interesting what lap times he can get down to. His best at the moment is a 25.6, which is a second off the leading pair.
And just as I mentioned the Giordanelli situation, I thought David Hart might have a go, and so he did by 2 quarters later. So he's moved the Dutch racer up into 6th place.
That moment that Lindemann had over the back in front of Chris Ward has cost Chris about 4/10, was a contributing factor towards that. Hancock still in 3rd, 12.8 seconds behind.
Stretton starting to catch Pearson, looks so he is a little bit. Last lap, no,
Be surprised.
pretty similar. But certainly Hancock is escaping from them.
Yob 575 was Derek Hood's car there. That's the car that Peter Mould drove back in the day.
Well, the lead duo of Minshaw and Ward, 10 seconds to good over Sam Hancock. Hancock's actually being slightly delayed by traffic as he comes.
Seven is off at Steve Bolby Brooks. David Hart, meanwhile, in 44, up into 6th place at the expense of Roberto Giordanelli. That's down at Lavant.
That's not going to affect anybody in the chasing pack. So the flag's down at St Mary's. It's further on to Lavant corner, but the car clear. Is it about to move again with Bolby Brooks? He was going well beforehand.
It was left running in the early teens, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was looking very tidy whenever I looked out the window. Giordanelli is really dropping away from the tail of David Hart, so the Dutch racer in the Costin in 6th place, pulling clear. But there's our race leader, number 33, John Minshaw, really drove hard in the opening laps and has kept it up with Chris Ward 2.5 seconds now. The last laps have not been good, and I don't think that can all be blamed on Adam Lindemann coming on the track.
It's, I think it's a combination of factors, and certainly John Minshaw, the Demon Tweaks Direct car is on the charge. Good to see as a Nobly and a Costin head-to-head out front.
Yeah, great to have that moving comparison. So, number 11, Chris Ward, on screen now, going through the second part of St Mary's, down into the 10th, but he's still roughly 2.5 seconds behind our race leader, number 33, which is John Minshaw. The car's looking great, sounding wonderful. Really fabulous bridge for the Scott Brown Trophy, but it does look as though John Minshaw from the middle of the front row is doing everything he can to take victory. 6 minutes remaining until the checkered flag.
It would be a big race for him to win, wouldn't it, Bruce, to beat the names. If you judge a race win by who you finish ahead of, this will be one of his better ones, I should think.
Oh yeah, I would think so. Unless some big ones escape my memory, but he's certainly driven brilliantly. Chris Ward is a very, very good benchmark to set, and he's always right at the front end in top machinery. And now the gap definitely must be going out from 2.4. Is it over 3 seconds? Just trying to gauge.
It does look like it, doesn't it?
3.4. It's been a second a lap for the last 3 laps. Well, there you go.
Well, I think Ward has been. I know that Minshaw's been quite extravagant by you, Bruce, but certainly out in the lower speed stuff, Ward's been more sideways. I wonder if maybe he's hurt his tyres a bit more.
Yeah, well, quite possibly, Kevin. Quite possibly. So 10 and 12, it's still Gary Pearson in 4th place. Martin Stretton a couple of laps ago was much closer to Pearson, but he's dropped back in number 8. Might have started on pole position. Well, he did start on pole position. Didn't make the best of starts. Fell down to 3rd by the opening corner, and he's really starting to struggle now.
Bobby Brooks has got going again. Steve Bobby Brooks, who you can sort out your deal to fly on a season Spitfire from Goodwood in the summer. Good way to see the Isle of Wight, South Coast. David Hart there in VPP 9. The Dutchman, whose lad we'll see out racing later in the day. This is next works. Mr. Costin.
I noticed Mark and Colin Turkington is now up to 9th and he's only half a second behind Wakeman in the coupe. So I think another position.
Big squeeze down at the chicane. Lead us through safely behind him. 2 abreast coming in.
You can drive an exemplary race and then the situation can work against you, but for John Mitchell, that was fine. He was ahead of that trouble.
That's where he needed to be. 3.5 seconds. Is going out all the while, just a 10th that time. You'll find that it's taken a while for Chris Ward to be able to hack his way through the back markers. Here's the number 6 car. Minshaw waves to say thank you very much to James Gibbon. And he goes off on the grass. Of course, he came in so quickly.
You feel quite complicit, wouldn't you, if you'd wave someone past and they ended up on the grass? You'd think, did I put them there? But in that case, no, they didn't. Back part of the circuit, not being so extravagant and flamboyant, but doesn't have the answers, I'm afraid, to the pace of John Minshaw at 33 in the list of Notley. Ward in his list of Costin, doing all he can, but it's not enough at this point in the race.
Bruce, that the first 6 drivers all in the low 126s last time round.
Yes. Well, conditions getting better and better, and certainly warmth in the commentary box. We didn't experience that in 2016 or 2015. It was so cold at this meeting, and the wind's still a bit gusty out the back, but track conditions look fabulous.
2 3/4 minutes to go in this Scott Brown Trophy race.
So now another second added to John Minshaw's advantage, 4.5 seconds over Chris Ward, and then back to Sam Hancock, probably about another dozen seconds or so. In fact, another 8
Oh, a spin!
seconds.
And that's Bobby Brooks again in 7.
I was just thinking how he'd settled down again.
Same place, isn't it?
I'm trying to work that one out, actually.
It's not like him, he doesn't throw it off very often.
No.
Twice in one race. But,
well, didn't take anyone with him. That's good news indeed. Certainly didn't take our race leader. So 2 minutes still on the clock. There's the Mr. Coupe going through. Number 17, Fred Wakeman in 8th place through the chicane, chased by 18. It's Curiacos. Lister Notley with Colin Turkington.
Yes, he's actually responded to that threat. Wakeman's done 2 of his fastest laps in the last couple. We've seen Colin coming up behind, and I think Turkington's having to work quite hard to get that last second to him that he needs. Probably learning about this car with every lap, I think, Colin Turkington.
You see Colin Turkington there in Michael Tuke's car. It's the Curiacos car that won at Spa in 1958, driven by Maston Gregory. So it's got an impeccable pedigree.
So the car that Scott Brown was chasing then for the lead.
Wakeman's up on the curb on the inside of number 2. Number 2, that's Adam Lindemann.
Well, Lindeman's already got off the circuit here, trying to keep out of the way, and he had very few options that time, but luckily managed to keep it together. But now, look how Colin Turkington in 18 is right on the tail of the coupe. Into the first part of that. And I hear a harder engine note. The car being driven hardest of all coming past St Mary's is John Minshaw, and the gap back to Chris Ward is 4.5 seconds. It's 5.8 seconds on the start-finish line, so really, you could be right, Marcus, maybe it's tyre wear 3 in the Waddington's Formula 1 styling.
What about fuel levels?
Fuel levels we don't discuss in public.
Down to about 1.5.
Yes.
I think I've got a copy of that game somewhere.
Harden, Jordan, Ellie and Wakeman and Turkington thunder through underneath us.
John Minshaw looks like he's timed this about right, or will he just go on to one more lap? He's coming towards the end of this. There's the checkered flag getting ready. 13 seconds until that needs to be displayed. I think he's got time for one more.
He may. He's going to squeeze one in, I think.
It's going to be some teeth, but where's the start-finish line? No, one more lap. With .00.
He was ready to wave, wasn't he?
In fact, if he just lifted,
yes,
he would probably have been. So he doesn't want to run out of fuel or something silly like that now, does he?
He saw the flag up there. He actually acknowledged the chap up there, I think. Or maybe his team.
He's 6.9 seconds ahead going into the last lap. And Stretton is back with Pearson again. I wonder if he's had a better run through traffic. Was it a bad lap from Pearson? Yeah, he's fallen to the 28, so Stretton took a second back from him. So last. I mean, these two have raced against each other a few times, Mark, in various bits of equipment.
Numerous times here at Goodwood in revival meetings, for sure. Pearson then, 4th, and number 12, Mark Stretton, just 3 tenths behind. And here comes Stretton, he comes down inside the slower car they're lapping.
Anthony Schrowen that went past, but John Minshaw in another green and yellow works liveried Lister Nobley coming through. Definitely this is at the last lap. He can wave again for a second
off at Madgwick, lots of smoke, spinning Lister. Couldn't see which one it was, it disappeared from view. But Minshaw comes through to take the flag, so it shouldn't affect the front runners.
But that has stretched and stretched and stretched back to Chris Ward, who's coming across the start-finish line now. 9.6 seconds at the end, so masterful performance from John Minshaw.
I think Ward backed off quite a lot in the last lap, didn't he? Here come the next chasers. It's going to be Sam Hancock in 3rd place. Sam Hancock comes through now in Helmut Rothenberger's car.